Ouch, another slippery bit. I'm going to have to be very careful here. I just wanted to walk out and show you this car. The Land Rover people here in Thailand decided they were going to do a launch this week, and they decided they'd do it here at Boat Lagoon. Fair enough. So this is, and it's not really in display-worthy condition with all that moisture on the front, but this is the new Range Rover. Range Rover? Yeah. I used to have a Range Rover many, many years ago, but this is the new one. And it looks curiously like the model before. There's not really much to sort of, I mean, you've all seen a Range Rover before. I noted, however, I'm going to take a different route back to where I was so I don't slip over again. That is valued at the starting price, 11,499,000 baht. Now, just looking at it, it's about exactly the same size as a car I just bought for almost, well, less, actually, 10 million less. That's 11,499,000. The car I just bought was 1,149,000 baht. And the car I've got has got better seats, better electronics, auto parking. I don't know. Anyway, there you go. Great to have you with us, and I'm sorry about slipping over earlier, but it's a bit moist. It's been raining overnight. This is our first chance to get together and have a chat about all things Thailand. And I've got plenty to talk about today because we've got some new visa extensions. We've got changes to the CCSA and to the emergency decree. Now, cutting through all the bullshit, what does all this mean? Well, that's what I hope we can discuss together this morning. I'm walking very gingerly because it's quite slippery here on the floor. So I am at Boat Lagoon in Phuket, where it has been raining a little bit the past 24 hours. That's not bad. Probably pay about the same for that as you would for the Range Rover out the front. So in we go, quietly walking in because there's other guests here having their breakfast, and we'll go and have a sit down and start our talk for the morning. I have to say that I'm a little bit nervous in that this is the first time I'm doing it under the new guise as Tim Newton today. Let's get set up. We comfortable here? You can see me, I can see you, I can see you. So I think that's fairly comfortable. As long as you can hear me. Yes, perhaps the fall didn't get recorded. That's probably a good thing. So just raise that a little bit. All right, so just get myself set up here and say good morning to, oh my goodness, all these people here. Scott D, great to have you with us. You're a bit of a mainstay. We've got Larry, the chairman, Bobby. Can the 45 days be extended by 45 days? We'll get to that particular issue in just a moment. My passport has 6 years left on it. Thailand may wait until 2023. Gary, hello to you. Also hello to Shane O Traveller. 45 days for 6.5 weeks of much needed holiday time. Mark Lynn, hello to you, and to Harry, everybody. I'm ever so grateful. We've just finished our first 2 weeks of Tim Newton today, and starting it off 2 weeks ago, I really didn't have any idea how it was going to go. We sort of started with a bit of a bang. It's now starting to settle down to numbers I think I was probably expecting. My aim for this live today is to get 100 people online. How many have we got? 160 already, oh my God. So yeah, I've already surpassed today's aim. I might as well finish now. Thank you, great to see you, bye. No, I'll keep going. So I just want to get rid of myself off the TV there. I don't really want to see myself. So lots of questions are going to come, and I'll do my very best to try and get stuck into your comments, but I'm reading your comments, trying to go through them, evaluate which ones I'm going to answer, think of something intelligent to say, and look at the camera. So a few things to do all at once. Greetings from Phnom Penh from Sen Sok. Hello to you. What's up, peeps? Says PG Santa. Hello, PG Santa. 10k subs drawing near. Well, okay. Tim, who is behind the camera? No one's behind the camera, just me. Behind the camera? Behind the camera. Anyway, just me. This is the thing about the whole TNT journey, is it's just me. I have no staff. I've got 2 cats. To be honest, they haven't been particularly helpful. And so it's just me, and I've tried to make it very low tech. I'm definitely trying to improve the look of the whole thing. So there's a lot of work to be done, and it's just going to take me probably a few months to sort of settle in. Let's go to the main story yesterday, and I'm so grateful to all of you for tuning in this morning. My goodness, 173 people. Hi from Austria, says Stefan. M. Maranta, Tim, what are you having for breakfast? Okay, I can tell you what I had for breakfast. I'm at the Dean and DeLuca, by the way. And I had pancakes with fruit. So very, very healthy. No sugar in that. There was no syrup and there was no icing sugar or anything. Question, Tim. Cosmetic surgery in Thailand. It's a bit vague. Where would one start searching for further information? From Zamzam. I could recommend you could go to mymeditravel.com. Also, if you just want to search Thailand and the procedure you're looking for, so it might be Thailand liposuction or Thailand eye surgery or something, and you'll find quite a few. Avoid all the ones that got ad in front at the top of Google and then go down to the hospitals underneath. So that will probably be a good start for you. But yeah, cosmetic surgery is very, very high quality in Thailand, and depending on the hospital you go to, can be quite economical compared to Western countries, and people are usually very happy with their results. I mean, I'm 103, and I mean, I only look 102. Tim, can I ask what car you purchased? From Peter B. I bought a Haval H6 HEV, which is a car built in Thailand with mostly Chinese parts, built from a Chinese platform by the company GWM, Great Wall Motors. It's an outstanding car, and I love it to death. I got an 8-year warranty on the battery. It's an electric hybrid car, has a petrol engine in it as well. It is so comfortable to drive. I mean, I've jumped from a Honda HR-V, which I've had for 6 or 7 years, into this, and it's just a whole different experience. Total luxury. I'm very, very happy with it so far, but early days. I'll probably do a bit of a test drive with it for you one day, because there's some fascinating aspects about this new car. Okay, so let's just have a quick talk, and thank you for all the questions. Thank you for your acknowledgement, and I'm truly grateful for you joining us here today, and I'll do my best to get through as many questions as I can. So yesterday, the CCSA meeting, some big surprises, and I think a lot of us were very surprised. Firstly, they changed the visa exemption program. So the 64 countries that are on visa exemption, who can just arrive in Thailand and get a stamp in their passport. For those countries that used to get a 30-day stamp, that's now been extended to 45 days. So you automatically get a 45-day stamp in your passport. For the countries that come on the visa on arrival program, you have to pay, I think it's 2,000 baht for a visa when you arrive, and you used to be given 15 days in Thailand. That's now automatically extended to 30 days. And that's going to start from the 1st of October. It doesn't happen tomorrow or during September. It starts from the 1st of October and it goes through to at least March the 31st next year. Okay, so the next question is, I've spent my 45 days in the country or my 30 days in the country, I want to extend that. With the 45-day automatic visa exemption, the 45-day stay. Do I get another 45 days when I extend? I don't know. It'll be in the Royal Gazette probably sometime over the next week, and we'll probably have more details then. So I can't answer that question. But that starts from October the 1st, and it goes through till at least March the 31st next year. My guess is that if they see a good rise of tourists, they'll probably continue that program beyond that date. And I think most of us agree that that would be a good thing. So I'm just going to reach for a glass of water, because all this talking does make you a bit thirsty. Excuse me for a moment. Cheers and good morning. So, okay. The next bit of news, and I'll address your questions on that as soon as I can get to them, is that the CCSA, the COVID task force here in Thailand, which was formed in April 2020, is going to be disbanded from the 30th of September. And thank you to all the people yesterday who reminded me that there isn't 31 days in September. I don't know how I could have missed that one. Anyway, so the CCSA is going to be disbanded on the 30th of September, and then all issues related to COVID will be handled by the Public Health Department in just their normal Health Act. And people will be treated at hospital as per any other disease. The other thing is, and then this is a bit interesting, is I reached for my iPad. So this is interesting. The other news was, and on the Nation Thailand, it says no CCSA or extension of emergency decree from October the 1st. That was a headline on the Nation Thailand, and it talks about the emergency decree not being extended past the end of September, and that the CCSA is going to be cancelled. But if you go to the Bangkok Post story, it says, he said the CCSA on Friday did not consider whether the state of emergency would be lifted along with the downgrading of COVID-19. Speaking after chairing the CCSA's meeting on Friday, Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha said the agency had not yet considered scrapping the emergency decree imposed to curb the pandemic. So depending on which particular publisher you read, there's different news on that. So either the emergency decree is being scrapped at the end of September or it's not. Now, beyond that, let's say that a lot of people say, oh, the emergency decree is all about power and Prayut doesn't want to give up the reins of power. Well, I don't think it's about that at all. And as far as day-to-day what we do around Thailand, the emergency decree literally has absolutely no effect on us whatsoever. If you arrive in Thailand, you aren't going to go, oh, it's an emergency decree, I better be careful. There's going to be people walking around with guns. There's nothing like that at all. The fact that there has been an emergency decree has been a part of the constitution of Thailand, which allows for emergency powers, and that was given to the CCSA so they could wind out or roll out all the reactions to COVID. And whether it is disbanded or not, whether the emergency decree finishes or not, really has no effect on the lives of people here in Thailand. So that's my comments on that. Thailand Heron says it's so easy to extend a 30-day stay at the moment, so the change is no big deal, I think. Well, I suppose it's a big deal if you can get 45 days plus 45 days, or even 45 days plus 30 days. Obviously, that 45-day stamp in your passport when you arrive is just, it's a 15-day bonus. These temporary changes are only for visa on arrival or exemptions. That's correct. These changes are just to the tourist visa for the 64 countries on the visa exemption, and for the countries, I think there's some 15 or 16 countries which get a visa on arrival, and they've been extended from 15 to 30 days. There's also a list of countries that have to apply for a visa before coming to Thailand, Nepal being one of them. So, hi Tim, is the nightlife in Phuket back to normal in terms of number of tourists and all the go-go bars open now? That's from Junior. Yes and no. As far as the nightlife in Phuket, I haven't been down to Bangalore Road myself, but from all reports, people are telling me it's quite busy there. It's not like 2019, probably half the number of people there at the moment. The other thing I noted yesterday talking about Phuket is that once you move out from those first two streets, Tawi Wan Road, the beach road, and then Ratu Tit Road, which is the road with Jung Silon and Central in it, you go to the third road, and as I reported yesterday, 90% of those businesses are still closed. You go to the back road, the windy road that sort of winds around at the bottom of the mountain, and there's very few places open there at all. So Patong is probably the busiest part of Phuket, certainly regarding tourists. You then go further down to Karon and to Kata, and it's really, really quiet. And so from time to time you get a report from the Phuket Hotels Association or from the tourism associations, and they say, oh, we've got 60% or 70% occupancy at the moment. Well, yes, except that there's only 40 or 50% of the hotels open at the moment. There's still a lot of hotels closed in Phuket. Now, I think I could probably map this same problem onto places like Hua Hin and Pattaya and even Chiang Mai. But the places that are opening are doing okay. They've taken the risk and they're getting the reward of the people that are coming. But there's still a lot of these places closed. So tourism is doing really, really well compared to, say, last year, but it's still early days as far as a recovery is concerned. At the moment, there would be, if you talk about July, between 20 to 25%, depending on which part of Thailand you're talking about, of the numbers of tourists coming back at this time. It's also a different mix of tourists. At the moment, predominantly from the Middle East and from India, and also some of the Asian partners, places like Malaysia. So they're predominantly the tourists who are coming through at the moment. Okay, get to some more of your comments and questions here. Transparent Truth, plans for a website, Tim? You have public email by chance? No plans for me having a website at the moment. The whole idea of TNT is to completely downscale the role I was playing in the past. It's a lot less stress, like 99% less stress. I can tell you I feel 100% better over the past couple of months. And but I do hope the YouTube channel can become something that I'm proud of and that is useful to you. And hopefully I can make a few bucks from that as well. Exactly how I monetize it, I only got the opportunity to monetize it earlier this week. I don't have things like Super Chat because you can't have a website in Thailand with Super Chat unless your company is registered overseas, and I don't even have a registered company. So there's a whole lot of things I'm looking at, maybe sponsors. Maybe you'd like to sponsor it. Maybe not. Fine drop indeed. Question from Jun Jr. With the 45-day news, do you think it will drive the tourist visits up? Yeah, look, I asked people a few weeks ago what they thought about the 45-day, well, I'm calling it a visa, but the 45-day stay as against the 30-day stay, and just about 100% of people said, yeah, bring it on. I mean, what's to lose? If you want to stay here for 7 days or 14 days or 21 days, and the 30-day stay was okay for you, well, that's fine. You don't have to stay for 45 days. It just means for those people that want to stay here for an extended holiday, 5 or 6 weeks, well, they can do so. I think it's a good thing. If it allows people to stay here and spend for longer, then there's no losers there. And bring it on. That's my feeling. Hi from Australia. Make love your work, no more Tiger for me. Okay. As I mentioned, I'm not going to talk about or address my former employer and my former company at any stage. So don't ask me any questions about that because I'm not going to be talking about it. Hi, what you drinking there? It's water, like H2O, one of Phuket's finest brews. And as I look out the window, I can actually show you, I can turn that around. There's a bit of H2O coming out of the skies at the moment. Okay, I'd sponsor TNT if I had something to sell. Thank you, Master Yan. That's very kind of you. Yeah, look, I've got a few things coming up as far as some advertisers and some affiliates on the program. And I'm certainly not going to make it like advertisers everywhere. I want to try and keep it just so I can pay for a few of my costs, and I can hopefully improve my technology. Maybe at sometime I can even employ somebody as a PA or an assistant to help with this and all the other things I do during the day. What can you say about the support of your local viewers with your new channel? Thank you. That's about all I can say. As I said, I can't do super chat. If you see an advertisement pop up, if you click on that, or even if you just view it and then hide it, that's helping as well, as YouTube gives us a few dribbles of their AdSense. Tim, look into Patreon. It's a bit like YouTube subscriptions where your subscribers can support you. Thank you. I've got a lot more research I need to do as far as finding a way to monetize the channel, but I'm trying to do it in such a way that I'm not going to do members, for example. With members, I can't promise you anything. That I don't want to. I just want to make the videos free for everybody. And for me to be doing extra videos for 10, 20, 30 members is a lot of hard work. So I want to keep the videos all free. And also YouTube keeps 30% of any income from memberships. So I'm trying to come up with better ways that give you better value and also, well, better value for me as well. Bad Badger retired in Thailand, Wazza, he says. Keon Noons, I think that if the 45-day visa is successful, they will make it permanent. I agree, as logistically it would be difficult to administer different tourist visas. Yeah, I agree. I think they will probably keep it going past March 31st next year. Just winding back, I probably missed a whole lot of other questions. Morning, guys, says Dating Guru. Stefan, yes, please do the car review. I think the option of non-car critic would be valuable. Yeah, look, I sort of have a general interest in cars. I've been very lucky to own some lovely cars during my years. I've wasted far too much money on, well, we know what cars are to many men, but these days I just drive something that is affordable, practical, reliable. This car that I have at the moment is just a beauty. It's beyond anything I could have ever imagined. The sunroof goes like from the rear view mirror all the way to the back. It's like got the whole sunshine coming in. It's an amazing sunroof. 200 watching. How many have we got? 268 people. What's wrong with you? Thank you very much for joining us. When is the new visa duration effective from? From October the 1st. So if you're coming to Thailand until the end of September, you'll still be on the old 30-day visa exemption when you arrive. Or if you've got a visa on arrival, you'll still only get the 15 days. So all this starting from October the 1st. Tim's studio will be random bus stations until he can get super chats from Wig Alert. Yeah, that's probably about right. The only way I can get super chats is to register a company outside of Thailand, and a company where they accept super chats. That's not the case with Thailand. You can't do super chats here for some reason. So we'll find a way. Don't worry too much about it. What else we got? If you can see me, then you probably went too deep into the weed thing from Stefan. Thank you very much. Good to see you, Tim, but missed the fall. Can you do it again? From Brian. Yes, I was just wandering around outside, making my way out to see that Range Rover, and tiles there, very, very slippery, and I'm only wearing these things, so not particularly good footwear, no tread whatsoever. Hi, this is the Timmy Newton Show, says BWW. Please don't call me Timmy. Okay, you've been warned once. Okay, hit the like button. Yes, please hit the like button. And also comment. in the comments section. Hi from Swansea in Wales. That's a nice part of the world. I see it pop up from time to time, some beautiful photos of the area. Arman, hey Tim, I've got a flight to Bangkok for the first time tomorrow. So excited. Well, welcome. At the moment, all the airports like certainly Phuket and Suvarnabhumi, all back into gear, as is Don Muang, the second airport in Bangkok. Yeah, I think there is an attempt or some effort being put into trying to make things work as smoothly as possible and trying to make tourists as welcome as possible as well at the moment. So hope your experience of arriving in Bangkok is good. Make sure the taxis turn on the meter. Scrolling down a bit here, and oh no, Tim chucked a plugger. I have no idea what that means. Where did you get your pool from? Says Wa Lo. Okay, so I've got this 6 metre pool. It is fantastic, and it comes up to about here when it's full. It's a Intex pool. It's an above ground pool. It takes about 2 or 3 hours to set up. You must have the ground absolutely level. I'm not talking about a little bit level. I'm talking about like absolutely level within an inch or so. And it cost me less, I think it was 29,500 baht. It all comes in a box, quite a big box. And yeah, it takes about 2 hours to set up, and then holds 35,000 litres of water. So it took about 2 or 3 hours to fill up. A big water tanker came along and filled up the pool. And it comes with a ladder, and it comes with a filter, and a few other bits and pieces. It comes with a few rubber rings. So yeah, that's the pool from Intex, and it was 29,900 baht. It's the best money I ever spent. So that's the pool. The FF button is broken. I have no idea what that means. Roof pizza. Transparent media. Tim will soon crush the landscape. My $100 PC keyboard is an extension of my... That's amazing viewership for a Thailand-based live chat. You're very popular. Well, look, my intention as we move forward is to try and be as open and engaging as I can, try and answer any questions I can. I don't have to hide behind a brand now. I can speak much more openly from my heart. I can tell you exactly what I think, and you will agree with me or not agree with me, but I'll certainly be able to give you my true impressions. This is a problem when you are working with a company, particularly when you're a shareholder. You've got responsibilities not to your own opinion, but to everybody who's working for that brand. So it's a much different situation now, and I hope to be able to give you the best and most honest answers I can. And look, clearly my views are a little bit different from other bloggers, vloggers, I think we call ourselves. I never ever thought when my mother asked me, what are you going to do when you grow up? I never thought I'd be saying to her, I'm going to be a vlogger. But here we are. Where did you get your pool from? I've answered that. Intex, yes. You can go onto lazada.co.th. If you're in Thailand, just type in Intex and then 6 metre pool. There's a 5 metre and a 4 metre as well. They're even cheaper. Have a good search around. Sometimes Shopee is a bit cheaper, and sometimes there are deals. But yeah, my 6 metre pool, 29,000, well, that's less than $1,000 what, 800 or 900. And it's really good value. And if I look after it, I try and keep the cover on from time to time. It'll last 3, 4, 5 years, no problem at all. Tim the Influencer. Yes, I described myself in a recent interview as the reluctant influencer. And if an influencer is I don't really see myself as influencing, perhaps providing information, and that's about all I can do. Would you buy an e-bike in Thailand? From M. Maranta. An e-bike, are we talking about an electronic scooter? If so, yes. I think if I buy another scooter, I've got 2 at the moment, and they're these Honda motorbikes that they manufacture in Thailand, you can't kill them. I suspect that most Thais don't even put oil in them, and they just go and go and go and go. But yes, if I was to buy a new one, I think I'd be looking at an electronic bike, an electronic scooter. Apart from the fact that they're a lot quieter, I think it's just always good to try and take advantage of the latest technology when you can. From an environmental point of view, I'm not sure if it's much better because you have to produce the electricity that you put into your motorbike. But from a point of view of driving it around, and scooters do make quite a lot of noise when you add them all together. Motorcycles, I think other people call them, I call them scooters. Stan Dixon, talking about Bangkok taxi for over a year now. I've been catching a taxi from Big C to home each week for about 75 baht. Now the taxis are asking for 200 to 300 baht for the same trip. So Stan, is that because the tourists are coming back, or is that because a fuel hike? I'd like to know what the driver of the taxi is saying about putting those fees up. I think Tim bargained for a free pool duck. Now I paid for that duck. That duck cost me, I think, about, I can't remember, I think it was about 1,500 baht, I think, for that duck. Very comfortable though, floating around on the duck on a nice sunny day. Hey Tim, I'm guessing the daily shows are pre-recorded from Mark Batchelor. Yes, they are pre-recorded. It just gives me a lot more flexibility to make sure I say precisely the right thing and don't and ah as much as I'm inclined to do. So they are pre-recorded. There's a certain level of stress involved with doing a live program, and I'm trying to make my life less stressful than it was. So yes, they are pre-recorded at the moment, and also because I'm doing this all by myself, it's hard enough once a week to be addressing your comments and doing everything at once. So yes, the TNT Daily Show will continue to be a recorded program for a period. Does the duck have a name, says KJ? No, the duck does not have a name. Many people have suggested names for the duck. Some of them I can repeat, some of them I can't. Get the duck on Lazada too. No, I got the duck from Central Festival in Phuket. Use Grab or Bolt. Yes, there are alternatives to the taxis. There are moves by the taxi industry to try and outlaw or make it more difficult for the ride-hailing apps, but at the moment it's still pretty much a free-for-all. So Grab or Bolt are certainly alternatives, but you don't, I know when taking a Grab bike, booking the Grab bike, you don't want to get the pickup point anywhere near one of the taxi gang areas because comments are made quite often and things thrown, which I can attest to. Duck you very much, says Wigalert. How do they serve alcohol so... that's not alcohol, by the way, that's just water. What is your position on croutons in soup? Says Bobby Crush. I like croutons in my soup. Thank you very much for asking. The daily shows are great. Thanks, Mark. Yeah, I'm trying to find the right note with the daily shows. Just give me a little bit of time to evolve it. I want to make sure there's lots of content, that the information is accurate, that I try and find some interesting stories. I mean, basically, I go through sometimes hundreds of articles to try and find the main stories of the day that are going to be driving the news cycle over the next 24 hours. Because I get up early in the morning, I try and get it out by 9. The only way I can improve the quality of the program is to get up earlier. So, it's just going to take a while to massage that program to get it exactly how we want to get it. 288 people online. Thank you so much for joining us on the program this morning. I can't believe it. Ray Bond, you're scared the couple away that are usually at D&D. Yes. There's usually that couple, the elderly gentleman and the younger, I think she's Chinese, the lady. I see them just about every day, not just here, but walking around the neighbourhood. But they're not here today. Wonder what's happened there. Hi Tim, happy to be getting my daily Thailand news fix from you again. I've missed this, says the K-Spot. We're very happy to serve you, and I'll be doing my best to try and make sure we get accurate, reliable, sustainable programs out to you each day. What can you say about Thailand's marijuana rules compared to other countries? From Jun Jr. Well, I mean, I have said many times that there's still a lot of confusion about this, and it remains so. Now, the Thai Parliament are currently putting rules and guidelines together to discuss or to provide a framework for the rollout of this particular herb in Thailand. So I really don't want to discuss any more until those laws have been passed, because a lot of the details, even after a Bangkok Post story yesterday, which said these are some of the laws in the legislation that's being debated at the moment, they haven't been passed. I also note that there's a very large political aspect of this particular dynamic at the moment. Thailand is either leading the way or leading down a different path anyway from all other Southeast Asian countries. And the reasons for that are not to do with the liberalisation on drugs, it's to do with politics. So let's just sort of wait a little while for the dust to settle on this. At the moment, it's a complete free-for-all. And there's not many places you can't go. Even a barbershop yesterday, somebody sent me some pictures. A barbershop was selling cannabis products. So it's pretty hard to avoid it at the moment. Probably a bit of an overreaction by some people. Overreaction from both sides, you might say. But my personal comments about it are not important. How it affects Thailand, how the laws are rolled out, and how it affects you, that's all that's important. And there simply isn't enough information around at the moment. Noting that people are still being arrested for the recreational use of marijuana, and that the police don't understand the rules either. So the sooner that some rules and guidelines can be rolled out that are not opaque, that are black and white, the better. Run Vegemite advertisements. Why? Great job, Tim. Please keep it up, says Jack Fletcher. I love both the news and your comments. My second listen every morning, right after NPR NewsHour from the US. Well, don't compare me to NPR. I mean, that's a proper production. But look, I do hope to improve. What I'd like to do with this Saturday morning is get a person to read out the comments so I can focus on answering your comments. So that might be the first thing I do. I've got a few people in mind who I'll try and rope in to do that. The Elgato camera you are using for the Daily Show distorts the natural colour. You look pink, but today with your phone, the image looks natural, says Stephen J. L. Austin. Yes, I'm a little bit disappointed in the Elgato camera I'm using. At the moment, I invested in that. It's the best I've got. I am aware I can probably use the camera with the system I'm using, but it stops me doing some other things as well. So, look, I'm looking into that, and I'm sorry if I look a bit pink during the week, and I am trying to fix that particular situation. What do you think about a weekly spotlight? A restaurant or bar kind of review would be nice to see your perspective, says Aaron F. Yeah, look, over the next few weeks I'll be starting to do some interviews. I've got some people I want to have a talk to. I enjoy interviewing people. I enjoy hearing their perspective, particularly if they've got something to talk about Thailand or issues relating to being an older person living in Thailand. I want to try and bring these perspectives to you. So I hope to do some of those in the next few weeks. What else have we got to say about that? Sorry, Tim, what's the... KJ, sorry, Tim, what's the politics behind the legislation? I'm a bit dense about this. Hey, okay, look, I'll try and give you a sort of simple answer about this. When they had the 2019 election, there was one party called Bum Jai Thai, and they stood on one platform, and that was the legalisation or the decriminalisation of cannabis. Now, cannabis has got a long history in Thailand, a bit of an underground sort of hush-hush thing. But they stood on this one platform of decriminalising cannabis, led by the now Public Health Minister and Deputy Prime Minister Anantun Charvirakun. They got an astonishing 51 MPs in the Parliament out of 500 seats. 51 out of 500 seats, that's not bad for a party that wasn't really even much known before the 2019 election. Now, when the Palang Pracharat Party, which the Prime Minister was sort of backing, the Conservatives, the military, the sort of remnants of the NCPO, wanted to form a government, they didn't have enough MPs to form a government, so they needed the Bumjai Thai votes, or the MPs, to form a government and to pass legislation. Obviously, a deal was done, a handshake was made, and so the very conservative, military-backed government of Thailand has, I can say, reluctantly introduced this law to decriminalise cannabis. It's got nothing to do with the liberalisation of drug laws in Thailand. It's all to do about making sure they can keep the seats of government. Now, the Bumjai Thai Party has now got about 61 MPs on their side after defections of other minor parties from the Palang Pracharat sort of circle of influence. So this is all to do about honouring a promise. It's all to do about maintaining a coalition with a majority in the Thai Parliament. Now, what happens after the next election? I don't know. But Thailand is standing out amongst all the other Southeast Asian nations with this reform. Now, I think reform in drug laws is something that is generally a good thing. Whether decriminalising this product for Thailand is a good or bad thing, historians will have to decide that in the future. Are there opportunities to commercialise the product for good? For sure. Is there a possibility of misuse, of recreational use by younger people? Probably. So I think some laws and guidelines and a framework is necessary, and it all should have been done before the law was passed. There you go. That's my brief coverage on the matter. Cats only say meow. Carmel, sister for the job, visa extensions. So I did speak, Stephen, a bit earlier about the visa extensions. So if you want to go back to the start of the video, you'll see the information I gave about the visa on arrival from 15 to 30 days, and the visa exemption program has been extended from 30 to 45 days, automatic stamp when you arrive in Thailand from those countries. Susu, bring Sue in. Sue Altman. Good morning, Sue, if you're watching. I don't think Sue would be available. She might be. She's good fun, Sue. And I had lunch with her yesterday. She's a good friend and a good lady and such a huge contributor to the Phuket community. I can only see 11 likes. Heaven forbid, Em Miranda, that's shocking. You can easily get to Australia, no testing even easier than us. I'm heading back to Australia on the 11th of October. I'll be there for about 2 weeks, visiting family and friends and doing a few things. So I will be doing the daily program each day from Australia. I'm not going to stop just because I'm in another continent. So you might get to see a bit more of my old hometown. Master Yan, so far the younger people can't afford the weed, but the price is about to drop after our first harvest. They'll be smoking squirrel. Okay, don't really want to address that. Malaysia is second, soon to be legalised for medical use. Hope it works out. ET travel freely. There is not a hope in the world of Malaysia decriminalising cannabis. Not in the next few years. I'm very, very sure about that. Even tennis players can get into Australia, says Ian McNamee. McNamee, a very famous name in Australian tennis. Bobby Crush, how can people make plans without knowing how long you can extend the 45-day visa exemption for? I hear you, Bobby, but I don't know. And nobody knows at the moment. That information hasn't come out, as far as I know. When it is gazetted, that information will be available. My guess, if I have to make a guess, is they'll probably allow an extension for 45 days. But look, I don't know. Let's wait until we know, because I don't know, you don't know, nobody knows, but I agree it would make a lot of sense. Okay, what do we got here? Tim, maybe show people around parts of Australia if you can. Mark, well, I'm only going to parts of Melbourne, little island down in Gippsland, and to Sydney. So it's not as if I'm going out to Uluru or Alice Springs or Willapina Pound or some, really amazing, beautiful places. Sadly, I'm just going not so much to see the country that I've seen a lot of already, but I'm going back to see family and friends. Now, you don't want to see them. Okay, Tim, maybe show people. I go on that one. Cool. Have a kangaroo guest. Yes, I'll see if we can do a program with a kangaroo. Wouldn't that be fun? Probably not for the kangaroo. Okay, Bobby Crush, go to ASEAN now. There's a kangaroo. Do I still need a return plane ticket? Yeah, if you're coming here as a tourist on a tourist visa, you usually are required to show your return ticket out of Thailand when you check in. Now, sometimes the check-in staff don't ask for it, but they usually do. They want to see, or the Thai government certainly wants to see, that if you're coming here as a tourist, that you are going to leave. And they usually want to see proof of that. So I would say if you're coming here as a tourist and you want to get a visa exemption, a stamp in your passport, stay here for 45 days, extend it, they are going to want to see that you are leaving the country at some time. So I believe that that will still be required. Try a wallaby. Do a live show from Malakuta. Well, that's a really nice part of the world. I won't be in Malakuta, but if I was, I would. Okay, mate, you've reminded me about that. I've been on the forums before. Tim has no more likes than he thought he would have viewers. You're absolutely right, Mark. I'm astonished by the support of all you lovely people for this new channel. It's not going to be as extensive as what I used to do in the past. It can't be. I don't have staff. I used to have 8 staff in the video section, editors, camera people, people dressing up the set, people moderating the chats, everything. But now it's just me. So I can only do what I can do very slowly. If the channel continues to grow, then I might be able to get someone to help me. But just be patient. Let's see how it evolves, how it grows, see what the demand is, what sort of services you want me to provide, and we'll do our best to grow the channel accordingly. You don't need a round-trip ticket, only an onward ticket to another country. Chicano on the go. That's correct. They just want to see that you are leaving Thailand, not that you're heading back to your home, just that you're leaving Thailand. So a lot of people, they just go online and purchase the cheapest ticket to the nearest country they can. $10, whatever it might be. Tim, the daily program is more than enough. Your reading the news every day was great. The K-Spot, thank you very much. Yeah, look, I think we've just got to refine the daily program a bit. I want to try and make it as good as I possibly can for you. I'm not happy with it at the moment. I want to try and make it around about 12 to 15 minutes of concentrated news, as many stories as I can sort of pack in with a few observations, because what you read sometimes is not exactly what is being said. And that's what I want to try and convey from time to time. Make sure you get the actual real vibe of the news that's being presented. I have friends who extended yesterday until November their COVID visa extensions. They need a plane ticket out of Thailand for some point beyond the end of the extension. That's from Chris Macon. Yeah, there is currently the COVID extension, which can be up to, I think, 2 months. I think that ends on August the 25th, so in 5 days. I don't believe after August the 25th they're going to allow any more COVID extensions. They were for people who, for whatever reason, were unable to get back to their home country. Maybe they are from maybe Ukraine, for example, or other countries, or they have got some, I don't know, whatever those reasons are, they couldn't get back. You might consider a Thai media watch. The observations and commentaries can be hilarious. Well, I suppose I sort of see the program a bit of a Thai media watch, where even today the disbandment of the emergency decree. The nation Thailand is saying it's going to be disbanded after September the 31st, and the Bangkok Post saying it's not being considered at the moment. So yeah, sometimes the media do either get things wrong or have contrary opinions, and we certainly will do our best to bring that to you. I also want to make sure that you understand who owns some of these publications and why they print some of the stories they do. Why some of the stories get up the top of the page and some stories are sort of hidden down the bottom or not published at all. Kion Noons, I do appreciate the news of the general region. Thailand news is of course very important, but it's important to see what's going on in the region. Yeah, and I certainly want to try and infuse some of the main regional stories each day, and I've been doing that as best I can. I'm even looking at doing 2 different versions of TNT, one for Thailand and one for the Asian region generally. But again, it's just time and resources. So that might be something coming up in the future as well. Chris, indeed, they wanted to get the extension done before August the 25th, and it was extended from the end of September to the end of November. Thanks for the info, Tim. My pleasure. Hans C. Schellenberg, ethics in journalism is important. Hans, this is an interesting comment. I mean, I don't see myself as a journalist. I see myself more as an observer and commentator. Ethics in journalism, there are some more ethical publications than others. I'll always do my best to make sure I credit where I'm reading something from and the writer, if that writer's name is available. But I don't see myself as a journalist. I call myself more, as I said, an observer and perhaps from time to time sort of an educator about trying to explain things to people in simple or plain language. You read things that are written by journalists and sometimes they need decoding, especially here in Thailand. So yeah, please don't ever call me a journalist. I really just sort of see myself as an observer and commentator. Tim, gonna put former news employer in second place. No. Michael Hicks, any thoughts on the property market in Phuket right now? Is it a good time to buy? Are prices going up or down or the same? Also, any recommended real estate companies? Great job on the Daily Show. Thank you very much, Michael. Okay, my observation about prices in Phuket. Firstly, Phuket is a finite island. It's only got a finite amount of land. At the moment, the property prices in Phuket have slowly been rising. There's a lot of people out of Hong Kong, a lot of people out of China, even Russia recently, who are investing money into the Thai property market. And I know with fazwaz.com, for example, that a lot of sales have been made over the past year here in Phuket. And I've been watching the prices steadily rising. Having said that, there is a lot of available property, a lot of legacy property. Things like 2-bedroom pool villas in Chalong, hundreds of them. They might be 20 years old, but you'll pick them up now for a pretty good price. And you spend, I don't know, 500,000 on them, give them a repaint and do some landscaping, you'll have a magnificent property. So as far as condos are concerned, of course you can own a condo outright as long as the foreign ownership is no more than 49% of the total building. To buy a house, you're going to have to either register a company, get a long-term lease, or have a Thai partner. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. There are ways and means where you can get ownership over the property that as a foreigner you can't actually own a landed property in Thailand. Having said that, there are still many ways. I'm looking, and I'm actually discussing with a person at the moment about a long-term lease for like a 15 or 20-year lease on a property, which would pretty much see me out of most of my active life anyway, and would allow me to do some sort of renovations and make it my home. And so, yeah, I think a lot of things are negotiable. Before you do anything with Thai property, make sure you come and have a look around, like you personally, not just ask somebody to do it for you. and have a look at the area that you want to buy, if you really want to buy, remembering that you're not going to fully own the landed property, and also get a qualified, experienced, trustworthy lawyer. That means get a recommendation from someone you trust before you do anything. Yes, I can recommend fazwaz.com. They're a good company. They have got good salespeople. They know the landscape. A lot of them have been around for quite a long time, and they've got properties right around Thailand. Fazwaz.com. Can you say that Thailand is back to normal, or what else should be done? June Junior. You're asking a lot of questions today. What's the time, by the way? Almost time to go. No, Thailand's not back to normal. Thailand will not be back to anything like it was back in 2018, 2019 for the next 5 to 10 years, if ever. We're going to see an ongoing change in the demographics of the people coming to Thailand. There's a whole lot of geopolitical changes happening as we speak that are going to profoundly affect the economies and the politics of a lot of the countries. Air travel, for example, I don't see that going down in price for a long, long time. If ever, the prices we were seeing in the second decade of the 21st century, I think were an anomaly. I think a lot of the legacy airlines are going to fight to survive. There's going to be some newcomers to the aviation market. I think there's also a big change in the way that the airline companies are selecting their planes. Things like the A380, we're probably going to see less of these big jumbo planes and more of these smaller, more economical planes like the Airbus A321 LR, long range. Planes like that I think we're going to see more of. Also reading that there could be a return of supersonic flight by the end of this decade, not necessarily replacing the planes we're in, but providing a different service to go longer distances quicker in perhaps more comfort, certainly a lot faster. So there's going to be changes. Technology is not going to stop. Thailand itself is just not going to be like it was. I think there's going to be a lot less mass tourism, and there's going to be much more bespoke tourism. That probably long term for a place like Phuket is a good thing. Phuket certainly isn't even 50% open yet. There's lots to do here. I mean, all the things that you want to do here, you can still do. You can still take a trip out to all the islands. You can go to Big Buddha. You can go and have a great night on Bangalore Road. But there are fewer people, and there are, once you get back a few streets from the beaches, it's very, very quiet indeed. And a lot of the smaller guest houses and hotels simply remain closed. That's just the way it is, not just in Phuket, but all the tourist areas around Thailand. They're making the 380 work well, the K-Spot. Yes, it looks like Emirates, Lufthansa. Who else was digging out their A380s? Yeah, look, I think there has been certainly a return. Some of the long-haul routes, I think Emirates have got 88 of their 110 A380s back in service. So they are certainly trying to bring some of these planes back in. And mostly not because they wanted to, because they did put mothball these big planes at the start of COVID. They were all waiting for this new Boeing 777, the new extended wide wing, blah, 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 latest version of the Boeing 777. But that's been delayed for another 2 or 3 years. So they're having to sort of bring the A380s out of the mothballs and put them back into service. 790 return in May 2010. Now making Kijay, are the hotels that remain open getting adequately staffed now? Staffing has become a huge problem. Speaking to Sue Altman yesterday, she was saying it's very difficult to get staff across the hospitality industry. Now again, this isn't just Phuket. This is Pattaya, Hua Hin, Bangkok, Chiang Mai, all the places they're trying to get staff to come back to their hotels, to their restaurants. everybody's battling to find staff. Why? I don't. It's all very well to say, oh, they all went back up country and they're working for their family business now. Well, that might be some of them, but not all of them. But I can say that when I speak to anybody in the hospitality industry, they are all saying at the moment they're battling to get staff. Some of the airlines are recruiting like crazy at the moment because they're battling to get baggage staff, flight attendants, pilots. So why do we have this shortage of labour when we used to have people doing these jobs and now there's fewer jobs but they can't find people for them? Interesting dynamic going on here. Okay, we'll do 3 more questions then I'll have to say goodbye as my voice is going and I've got to go and do some gardening, otherwise I'll get in trouble. Everybody went back to Isan. Hands, again, that's a very simple statement to make, but that can't be 100% of all the staff went back to Isan and aren't coming back. And if they did go back to Isan, what are they doing there? They can't all be gainfully employed. Tim, excuse me. Oh, that went straight into the microphone, I'm sorry. Roger Osmond. Tim, do you still fly privately? If so, where? No, but I am going to get back into doing some private flying. They have a couple of these magic new German-made gyros up at the Phuket Air Park, and I've flown in them a couple of times as a passenger, and I'm hoping to get a license to be able to fly those. So yeah, I'm not going to do it big time because it's a very expensive sport, but a great place obviously to fly around. And I'd like to perhaps do something over the next couple of years to get back into playing the piano and to doing a bit of private flying again. The Great Resignation, says Hans. Again, you know, did everybody suddenly go back home and open an OnlyFans account and discover Buddha? It can't be that simple. There's something more complicated going on. Sydney Airport is a mess because of no staff. There you are, tick symbol. This is not just a Thai problem. This is around the world. There's chaos in the travel industry, in the airline industry. Even Heathrow are saying that the airlines can't sell any more tickets beyond a certain date, or reading something about that. So there's some big supply problems, supply chain problems in staffing and parts and bits and pieces that it's just going to take a while for all this to fall back into place. If ever. What we're entering into now is a very different world from what we had in 2019. For whatever reason, be it COVID, geopolitics, China and the US, things are different now. We just need to get used to it, get on with our lives, and make the best of it. And, I suppose, try and understand it. Okay, what else have we got? Unemployment insurance, maybe, but that's not going to last forever. Thanks, M. Maranta. Russell Gunther. A380s, probably some routes and demographics, but generally 787 size planes are more profitable. An A380 flight is a totally different experience. You need to fly one at least once. Yes, I've flown twice on an A380. Both times I was lucky enough to sit in premium economy. They were both long-haul flights. It's almost silent. They are an astonishing plane. I've taken the 787. I'm actually flying in one back to Australia with Scoot in October. Yeah, I mean, these newer planes are obviously better than the older planes, but the A380 is a remarkable plane. Sort of sad to see a lot of companies not using them anymore. So if they do make their way back into the skies, try and fly them, because as far as engineering on a big scale is concerned, they're about as amazing as it can be. And Keon Noons, a lot of airlines contract out work to staff and workers, want to have more stability and higher paying jobs. Low paying hotel jobs also becoming victims of this also. Good heavens, 300 people. I'm amazed. Thank you very much, Ian. I'm not going to say that. And with that, 777 was the last good plane Boeing made, says Hans. Thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate you joining us for the past hour or so. I want to do this every Saturday morning. As I said, I'm going to try and find a partner in crime I can do this with you on Saturdays, so I can spend more time thinking and talking to you and less time going through the questions there. But I'll do my very best to answer some when I finish doing this, although I think the live chat vanishes. But again, I'm sort of getting used to doing all this by myself. I'm grateful for you joining us. I'm hoping to slowly grow the channel. If I get 3, 4, 5,000 views each day, I'll be happy. If I can build it up to maybe 10,000 views a day by the end of the year, I'll be very happy indeed. And if it gets up to that viewing point, I'll probably be making enough that I can employ somebody to help me do all this. But thank you very much. It's been great having this Saturday morning with you. Cheers to you for a fantastic weekend. And I look forward to being with you on Monday with another TNT. Bye for now.